Welcome to the Windy City Podcast presented by Fansided. That man right there is Alex Shapiro. I am Kenneth Davis, and we talk Bears NFL, but of course we're centered around the beloved, and that is the Bears. And speaking of beloved, something that's beloved by a lot of people. I won't say most, but I think it's most, but I'll be nice and say a lot. Is money. And you know who got a lot of money? Bears right tackle Darnell Wright got paid $116 million, 93 included, y'all. Listen, that's not that 93 and that 90 like you know, I'll say this. I love because the NFL players, unless you're a creep, you don't get fully guaranteed contracts for the most part. Shout out to Sean Watson. And but when you used to see these contracts, like let's just hypothetically say this was like 10 years ago, right? Like, and of course the big number will be lower because it always increases. But Darnell Wright would have gotten like $80 million, and it would have been like 45 mil guaranteed. And to see that basically majority of his money is guaranteed, that makes you feel good for the type of effort and suffering physically that these gentlemen have to go through. Yes, they're paid a lot, but their bodies get wrecked and their brains get wrecked. Let's just be fully honest about it. But Darnell Wright got paid. Alex, how do you feel about them paying Darnell Wright early? And then I know you'll get into why they paid him early, but how do you feel about the Darnell Wright contract?
I love it. I think it's just a slam dunk, to be honest. I'm not worried about the guaranteed. I'm not worried about the money. It's not my money. I don't care. What I do care about is you have a right tackle who last season played at the level that you expected when you drafted him, 10 overall or 9 overall, whatever it was when they drafted him in 2023. He played at that level, and you are expecting now that he's going to play at that level for you for a long time. Caleb Williams and this offense and making sure this offense goes is everything. Ben Johnson, an offensive coach, is running the show here, right? We know the run game is important. We know that Darnell Wright is a mauler in the run game. If you get behind him, you get him moving in space, he's going to clear some space for you. You don't got to worry about the right side because Darnell Wright is incredible at recovering. If he gets beat, he's got a knack for getting back and kind of be like, whoa, nothing to see here. We're all good. He can correct himself. He has really developed. He's really developed, right? And I know he's going to be linked to Jalen Carter his whole career. And when he was drafted, we talked about this ad nauseum, Kenneth, about, yes, the Bears need a 3-tech, but man, they also need tackles. Need tackles, and keeping the quarterback upright is huge. So the fact that you to me, like, you just don't have to worry about right tackle now. I mean, obviously injuries and health are an enormous X factor. I'm not going to worry about that. Like, injuries aside, I don't have to worry about right tackle. And that's a phenomenal thing for a football team, especially when left tackle is a question mark. When left tackle is a question mark, you just be like, you know what? Let's just go over here by Darnell where things are all right. Things are real nice. No problem. And it helps cover up that left side. So I'm just a really big fan. We were big fans of Darnell Wright when he was drafted way back in the day, when Josh Schrock put us on Darnell Wright before anybody else way back in the day. We got on board. And this is the realization of a development plan that worked, of a draft plan that worked, which hasn't happened very much in Chicago with first-round picks. I mean, it simply hasn't. Like, think of how many guys have not gotten that second contract with the Chicago Bears. And now you got a guy at a premium position. You developed him. He's playing at an unbelievably high level. Reward him with the contract. Keep him here. I think it's a slam dunk.
What, last Bear to first-round pick to get signed to a second deal was Cal Fuller?
Oh, my gosh.
I believe I'm correct. I think the last Bear that signed a second contract was, because think about it, Mitch, first round pick.
Right.
Okay, because Mitch didn't, Justin didn't, All right, so we could then let's not forget we didn't have first round picks because of Khalil Mack. But the crazy part is
and Justin Fields. They also missed a first round pick because of Justin Fields.
You're right. This is the crazy part too. When you think about the fact that they almost got rid of Kyle Fuller.
Right? The transition tag stuff. He nearly got swiped by the Packers.
Let's not forget, Vic Fangio had to put fire in that young man because he wouldn't have been back here probably. So to think about that, and now you get Darnell Wright being the bear to get his second deal. Also, that $93 million, I believe, is the highest guaranteed money for a tackle that in the NFL.
God bless him. You know what? Yeah. Go get your money, Darnell Wright.
Oh yeah, get your bread, get paid.
Totally.
Get paid. So yeah, I'm happy. Also the money has to start going somewhere. We've spoken last episode of the importance of the offensive line. It is early, but if you wait, that $93 million only gonna go up. So if you were like taking a wait and see approach from last year, now they gotta believe in them because I probably would have waited. I'm gonna be honest with you.
But if you wait a year, the price goes up. The price tag goes up every year.
I could have threw 5 more on there just to make sure I was right. All right, like just make sure you. Again, this is my thing. How many years? So he been in the league. And again, I believe I'm correct. He been in the league 3 years. Right, that was the 2026 season. Right, this is his 4th season. Right, out of those 3 years, only one of those years has he been a Pro Bowler or even questioned as far as being a Pro Bowler. So again, first year, I get you. Shaky players all around you 24/7. Look, you did not have a guard that was going to sit there and do what you need to do. So, and that's something you know what? Let me add that to the equation. I can't sit here and talk about the benefit of Joe Thuney at left guard, and I talk about the fact that during Darnell Wright's career, we said on here he was the best offensive lineman they had. But so if he was slightly above average, if that. So imagine that, and then there's nothing alongside him. So maybe I'm being too harsh on Darnell Wright. I need to think about it because he didn't have anything. He definitely didn't have a Pro Bowler or a Hall of Famer, someone to help him and guide him into like, this is how you do it if you want to get to this level. And that's the benefit of having, let's not also at this, last year you also had Drew Dalman on this. This is another guy that was a North Star to point and show you how to get to the bread. Regardless of anything feelings about Drew Dalman, you can at least say he can show you want to get to that second contract. Let me show you how to get to the second contract. So,
and you know what? Like Jonah Jackson is expected to be here. He's got 2 more years on his deal. So like, you know, you're keeping those guys connected, and who knows? Maybe Jonah Jackson gets a contract extension after this year if he plays well again. I don't see why you wouldn't. So like, yeah, consistency, man, that stuff matters. And having Jonah Jackson next to him matters. Like that helps. That helps a guy realize his potential. Dan Roshar lighting a fire under him. Dan Roshar in the press being like, you know, Darnell's got to be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah. I love it. But also, again, he has more to work with than Dan Roshar, but I can see the growth in the players under him. And one thing that I meant to say this last episode, and I forgot, this is a bouquet to the defensive backfield. We've seen what Al Harris can do with his guys, right? So the coach, look, y'all know I'm Ben Johnson. I'm Team Ben Johnson. But his instructors underneath him seem to be instructing. That hasn't always been the deal here, in my opinion, with the coaches. Staff. Yeah, like the staff is a great staff. And you see their work with the players' growth, development. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I want to say that about Al Harris, but you can see that in Dan Roshar. But I want to say this. I do want to put on my GM cap. I do. All right? This is the Kings' way too early draft discussions. They need to go and get them a guard next year, and either in the top 4 rounds. Because I want that guy to know want that guy to know Joe Thuney. You know what I'm saying? He may not be starting to replace Joe Thuney. He may be somebody may go down. It could be Jonah if they don't. But I take advantage right now of having Joe Thuney on your team and get as many young offensive linemen around him as you possibly can.
We need competition for Luke Newman. We need competition for Jordan McFadden.
You take advantage of it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because you could see it. Like, be honest, y'all, we ain't seen this. Right? Like, we ain't dog. This offensive look, times are so nice. We don't talk about being in the offensive wilderness when it comes to offensive linemen. All right. We were in the wilderness searching for a way out of the wilderness, right? Like
we're talking about this team can score 50 points a game and they better because the defense is going to give up 40. What's going on here?
Dog, that's crazy talk for Bears fans. That's dog, when you're talking about leading. All right, I'm looking at Brad Biggs' mailbag, and he was talking about they got to win through offense. Was of course that's where the bread at anyway. All right, that's where, or if they're not getting paid yet, they gonna get paid. That's where most of your draft capital, everything is going to, where you really, even pro personnel, when we just talked about the offensive lineman, they either traded for or signed last year. So look, man, and the crazy part, this is the thing when I'm reading that, I'm like, yeah, but this is facts. Dog, usually we be lying to ourselves about the Bears being able to do something. Let's be honest, man. I hope, I wish, I want. And it's like, no, you know what?
Hester's going to be a really good wide receiver this year.
That part
now
right
that he's got
there.
More reps. Devin Hester's finally going to be the wide receiver
that
one.
Part, I was just talking about Jay Cutler's wide receiver one was Devin Hester, right? And like, dog, Devin Hester, Hall of Famer, return goal, whatever, right? But that was a lot on him. And you look at what they got now. I mean, look at that wide receiver room. Now crack the door and look at this wide receiver room. That's great. Like,
we're not talking about Darnell Mooney, wide receiver one, and Byron Pringle, wide receiver two.
Only thing comparable is Marshall, Jeffries, Bennett, Miller. Only thing comparable, Zach Miller.
Martellus Bennett and Zach Miller were on the team together?
I believe they were on the team together. I could be wrong. I think they were on the
That's a great tight end room.
Remember when Zach Miller started popping? It was kind of like, hold up here.
He was great before he had his crazy injury.
Crazy injury, which luckily they took him to the hospital. They were able to save his leg, though. Take him to the right hospital instead of the nearest hospital.
Shout out Bears.
Yeah.
Shout out Bears. They really took care of Zach Miller.
But yeah, you ain't seen these weapons, let alone with youth. All right, like this isn't the third team for your lead wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like this could be something. Now, this is something. Let's see if they can sustain it and if they can improve on it. But again,
that's why this move is so huge, right? You've got all these weapons. You've got the quarterback. You don't want this to turn into a Joe Burrow situation where he's always hurt because he's always running for his life. What you want this to turn into is a Jared Goff situation where the Lions did such a good job of investing in that offensive line. They had the coach, they had the players, they invested the money, they invested the draft capital, and Jared Goff could turn his back to the defense and run that play action and know, I'm not going to be running for my life. I'm going to be able to turn around and have a clean pocket, and I can operate this offense. And Jared Goff played at an MVP level for a long time, still kind of does from time to time, because that offensive line was so good for so long. And Ben Johnson gets that, right? Like, he came from the Lions. He gets that. How about Tom Brady? Tom Brady, who said, like, yeah, pay me less. So you pay the guys in charge of keeping me clean, pay them more. Make sure that they're getting paid to stay. That's what you want. You do not want to be the Bengals. You want to be the Lions. You want to be the Patriots. And for the first time in what feels like forever, since Ben Johnson really got into town, it was like, yeah, we're getting a new center, we're getting a new left guard, we're getting a new right guard, and now we're paying our right tackle. They're doing it. They're taking the steps to build that offensive line that will hopefully be consistent for a long time and keep that quarterback upright and make sure he's got 3 seconds for those long developing plays to develop so that they can score 50 points a game.
Ben Johnson came into Hallis Hall when he first arrived with a t-shirt that said, use your powder. For all the dry powder that Ryan Post was keeping for those not spending on offensive linemen. If you want to know about said offensive linemen, see our last episode about the journey in the forest of offensive linemen. Just a few, add more to it, that have come through that have not lived up to what the expectations were that were placed upon them when they were brought into Hallis Hall. And yeah, I mean, but that also infuriates me about Ryan Post, that Ben Johnson had to come in and be like, hey, you know that position you played in college? Yeah, you spend some bread on that. All right, spend
I
that.
know you found Braxton Jones once in the 5th round, and he was a starter. And I know you've been trying to find more diamonds in the rough.
You're doing it. Don't. I was good with Braxton. I get because those things that make me mad and my triggers. That was a trigger that you never really brought in competition. It's still sharp and still for Braxton.
Give him the job.
But you always were saying that these were open competitions. Now I know there's always malarkey with that, but the fact that I get you found him, you could have helped him by having someone kind of the same shit we just said about Darnell Wright. Look what happens when you put Pro Bowlers around young talent. You could have done that with either competition for Braxton or put some Pro Bowlers next to Braxton to see truly the value, if Braxton had the value that you placed upon him after you gave him that position.
Who is that veteran? I want to go down memory lane again. Who's the veteran from the Patriots where we were like, oh, it's finally competition for Braxton Jones? And then like he took 3 snaps with the ones and it became like quick, like very clear very quickly that like, oh no, this ain't this. Was it Matt Pryor? Is that his name?
I think so. I think you hit that one. I think,
man, remember the Matt Pryor era when he was going to be the competition?
Man, don't start, man.
I can't help myself. It was Matt Pryor. Shout out Matt Pryor. Spent 1 season with the Bears in 2024. He started 15 games.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Pryor started 15 games for the Bears in 2024. Oh my gosh.
Do you know how beaten up? Hey, look, 2 things that these offensive lines have been: bad and beaten up. All right.
Oh,
look at your face. The face that Alex just made of disgust.
15 games. Was Matt Pryor actually a decent guard and a really bad tackle? Can somebody remind me? Somebody, I don't really remember. Was Matt Pryor a decent guard and a bad tackle? Because I don't remember. This offensive line, I'm looking it up. We had Coleman Shelton at center.
Mm-hmm.
We had Tevin Jenkins at left guard. We had Matt Pryor at right guard. We had, man, I can't even find the other guys. I can't even find who are the tackles. Tough sledding. 15 games. Apologies.
Where the tackle, it had to be, you said this is 2024, right?
2024.
Darnell Wright's your right tackle because he came in 2023.
There you go. Darnell Wright was your
so
right
then you
tackle.
say, and Braxton, if he was playing guard. I'm saying if Pryor was playing guard. Yeah. So think about that. That was what you threw out there. Because that Colton Shelton era was for the bee's knees.
It was not the bee's knees, actually. It was not the bee's knees. It was for the birds.
Remember that? Remember that was good times. Remember seeing think about it.
That was the Ryan Bates era too. Remember Ryan Bates? I'm adding more names of guys who I've forgotten. Remember Ryan Bates?
Yeah, that was seeing Justin run for his life. Because that was just his last season then, right?
2024.
Because you had 2025.
2024 was Caleb's.
No, because I think because how we counted it. So 2025 is Caleb's rookie year. 2026 was last year.
No. 2026 is this year. So this year is 2026, Kenneth.
You're right.
It's August 7th, 2026.
Okay.
No, so 2024, that was Caleb Williams' rookie season where he got sacked 157 times.
Gotcha. I'm counting it because the thing with any of these leagues, well, outside of baseball, is the year flip and how you count the champion.
Right. It's like basketball.
Right. Yeah, so that's where it's throwing me off.
I hear you.
All right. Speaking of Caleb, looks phenomenal. Has lost some weight. It's good to see. And also I think, I feel like Darnell Wright took his offseason preparation, how his body looks even more serious too, which you want to see that when you're giving people bread. But Caleb looks good. You can see it in his face. But one thing that Alex and I did when we were talking shop or spoke about, one reason that I like Caleb more than Jalen Daniels is because Jalen Daniels is slight and Caleb had a tuchus on him. He had some thickness to him. And it just makes you wonder. And again, this is murky dismal land. I want him to be strong enough to do the things that he was doing as far as huge men grabbing him with both hands and him being able to run and spin out of it and him staying healthy while doing it. Now, listen, this he could still do that. He could be better. This could just be me being a worry wart. Because this could just be all improvement on him. But I just want to make sure that he is physically able to continue to do what he wants to do. But priorly, he knows more than what I do, and that he's doing what's best for him. But it's good to see him take it serious. But it's not like you didn't think this. Like one thing, and about all the BS that came with Caleb about him painting his nails and how people like to be, he's so Hollywood, even though he was
his dad is so
right.
involved.
Oh my God. How much have we heard about Caleb's dad?
0.
Right. But Rome Daddy will pop out, right?
True. It ended up being Rome Tunze's dad was like,
right.
Get my son the ball.
Right. Rome Daddy will pop out. But Caleb's father was supposed to be all this issue and all this problem. All the again, it was a civil war. People say crazy things during wars in general.
You know what it was? It was 31 other NFL teams trying desperately to get Caleb Williams to not be drafted number 1 so that they would have a shot.
Definitely. But just to me, and like just watching it from the outside in, he never seemed like what they were trying to say that he was. Right. Just some weirdo, basically. And regardless of, again, if he paints it, I don't care about that man's nails like that.
Yeah, who cares?
Particularly how he slings that rock. But like all that, and to get here, like when I hear people when I hear national people say, him taking it serious, it's like there's never been any issue where you definitely didn't think he was taking it serious. Now, he may not have been trained up on how to go about getting to the next level. You know what I'm saying? That could be a question, as far as he may have been doing things because he didn't know how to do them properly because there was no one to show him how to do them properly.
But now he does, and he took it seriously. Like by all accounts, as you said, he takes it very seriously. He put in the work to learn how to put in the work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he wants, everybody says they want to be great. Everybody says they love football. There's levels to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when Caleb Williams says, I want to be the best football player of all time, he means it. And he also means I'm going to do what it takes to become the best football player of all time, which a lot of guys don't do. They simply don't do.
Most people don't want to put their name on it because people are going to be like, remember when you said this, to back up what you're saying. He already had the hype of a guy that could be, but for him to want it too and say it, but then also show that he freaky deaky. Like I think we don't even talk about, dog. We are so battered that I feel like we enjoyed last year. We loved last year. Also, last year was frustrating at times. So I think some of last year we block out. It's in a haze in some ways.
Week 2 against the Lions.
Dude, bro,
it was dark.
it was bad business. But to see him go through it and become so much better, but also consistently prove that he is probably, unless Patrick Mahomes can reclaim it, the most clutch player within the NFL.
And he's got to win a couple of Super Bowls first.
No. This is the only reason I'm saying this. First of all, Team Baby Go. Patrick Mahomes hasn't had the opportunities as often, and with the players around him to show that tendency. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback within the NFL. Argue with your mama, but I'm saying this. I don't know. I'm just saying, and look, we'll see this year. And there's bias in this. I don't care. Patrick Mahomes belongs to me, and I'm saying I'm being biased for Caleb. But the thing is this. That was different, Alex. That's particularly, it makes it even more different. You were bad in the first 3 quarters of the season. I mean, the game half the time, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it was like, hey, go win it, right? Like, here, go win
Chips
it.
Her down, go win a football game.
Hold my beer, right? There's only been one guy consistently in my life. There's been a guy that came close, but he got hurt. One guy in my life that anytime you basically, not to say he didn't have to go through with losses, but you was like, go win it. And it was like, he probably about to do it. And that was Michael Jordan. I'm not saying Caleb was Michael Jordan. Stop. All right. But if you didn't grow up with Michael Jordan, you don't know how it is to root for someone and they don't really lose like that. Even when the chips are down, he would go back. Like once Jordan won the title, bro, it was a wrap.
You went to a Bulls game at home, you knew you were going to see a win. And 99% of the time you were right.
Yeah, dude, listen, I know if it's some things you have to live through it. You can't really describe how crazy it was to watch Michael Jordan. I'm telling you, if you didn't see it, you wouldn't know, because y'all players lose too much now. Like, I'm not even trying to be an ass. I'm saying, and I said this to somebody,
they don't play enough either.
But
they don't play enough.
But Alex, this is the thing. You can tell me who the greatest NBA players have been over the last 20, 25 years, right? Right? And I'll tell you this. Did any of them stop any of the rest of them from eating? Because people still make fun of Charles Barkley. They make fun. You don't know how cold Charles Barkley was, ill than a mug. Michael Jordan, compared to what people think, because they didn't win titles, I still know Charles Barkley is great. I still know Reggie Miller was a badass man. All right, like some of these guys that were, even though Gary Payton won a championship in Miami, but they stopped him in Seattle. I still know how cold Gary Payton was. We will not mention Karl Malone in any facet with any type of positivity. But I'm just saying this. Everybody, think about it. And when's the last time in the NBA that they've had a back-to-back champion? It was what, Golden State? I'm pretty sure it was Golden State was the last back-to-back champion.
Celtics ever go back-to-back? They've won a bunch lately.
No, the Celtics only have Jaylen Brown and Tatum only won one. They've always been to the conference finals for the most part. They won one.
Like one more.
Right? They won one. What my point being, everybody eats in the NBA now. Everybody, hey, it's go get you a title. There was no go get you a title. It was Jordan retired, Olajuwon got 2, Jordan came back, he got 3 more. All right.
Yeah, who didn't like Patrick Ewing isn't eaten. There's no go get you a title, Patrick Ewing.
Right. That was listen, Clyde Drexler had to get traded because Jordan stopped him in with the Blazers. He had to run and get to his old college teammate with Olajuwon to go grab him one while Jordan was you got to grab him before Mike gets back. That's what they was all saying in the streets. Grab him before Mike gets back. I'm lying. That's not what people were saying. And I know it seems like, oh, get off my porch. No, I'm telling you, there was no sharing. It was, this is mine. The rest of you aren't on this level. It wasn't, oh yeah, y'all can have. No, it wasn't like that. And again, you had to be there. Hopefully, look, I hope y'all see something like that in your life. I'm not even saying it in a negative way. I hope Wemby's able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Team Wemby.
Definitely.
Team Wemby.
Definitely Team Wemby over the.
I guess that was my extra point.
That was great. We did the extra point.
They organically happened.
Caleb Williams is not Michael Jordan yet.
But
if he wins 3 Super Bowls in a row, then takes a little time off to play baseball, and then comes back and wins 3 more titles, he will be the next Jordan. But he's got work to do. He's got work to do. 3 Super time off to play baseball, and then 3 more.
Chicago would blow up if he won 2 in a row. Like,
oh my goodness.
If he went on 3
years plus a stint with the White Sox minor league system,
right?
Dude, come on! I want to see Caleb Williams play for the White Sox.
I see. I'm gonna tell y'all this, and that's the thing. By going back to the Jordan thing, there's nothing worse than a proud Chicago sports fan. All right, because we hit you with hyperbole, but facts too. Y'all do not want to see Chicago fans if the Bears are perennial contenders and they're winning it half the time. Like, you do not want to hear, you do not want to hear how crazy Bears fans are going to be talking to them. Look, and people that are fair weather fans jumping on the bandwagon, it's going to be the nation. You will hate us right now. And you watch it. And I always tell people this, programming want the Bears to be good. Don't get it twisted. People like, no.
Bears being good is good for TV.
Watch ESPN. They love hyping the Bears up at the beginning of the year. They love it because it's the middle of the country. It's the 3rd largest city. Okay, but then you have the whole middle of the region that follows the Bears. Outside of the Bears having fans all over the country and
international.
All over the world.
We see you, Irish Bear Show.
But so the part that I'm saying is this. It'd be so good to see the Seaboards hate on Chicago because they're tired of the Bears winning, i.e., like a team the Bears beat in the Super Bowl when they were just in the Super Bowl regularly, and I'm referring to the New England Patriots throughout the early 2020s, 2000s, I meant to say. But anyway, Caleb Williams looks good. Looks like he's progressing. Got to see it when it's live against opposing teams, but I don't know, man. Like, man, I'm so on Team Caleb. He would really have to fall on his face to get me off, and because I don't think it's BS, and that's really why I was talking about the clutch thing. Because I think, and I think he's going to become more efficient from the standpoint of staying within the framework of the play. And then you add to that he is so clutch, and if you want to say he's the second most clutch player in the league, that's fine with me too. But he's so clutch, and he's clutch and has weapons, because it's another thing to be clutch. We mentioned, and I'm not say Jay Cutler was clutch, but he only had Devin Hester. And some guys can win with that, but you usually can't win titles with that. But you think about the weapons that he has, it's gonna be nasty work. And we haven't even talked about, and I know this is one thing we said last year, and I think we'll see it more this year. We haven't even talked about using particularly Darnell Swift, Xavier Thomas in the passing game, right? Like, we haven't even gotten into.
They're scratching the surface, man. They're going to 201 this year. This is year 2. They're scratching the surface.
Dog, I just sent out Burden, Rome, Colston, right? I'm gonna keep Cole in. Cole, or wait, at least Cole fake block for a minute or whatever, right? Just, it did, yes. And then I got Swifty back here. And I
run a nice wheel route for me, Swifty.
Exactly, like, dude, that. And you got a quarterback that's hot as fish grease with a good offensive line.
Kyle Monunga, just get behind Darnell Wright and punch this in from 4 yards.
Just go like that, man. I'm hyped. I know that the strength of schedule has improved due to their winning last season. But again, they can score with anybody. There's no dog. They almost beat the Rams, bro. All right,
they almost went to the Super Bowl.
Right, against the Rams.
They still had to make it past the Seattle Seahawks. So
they wouldn't be Seattle. They weren't going to beat no Seattle.
They were close to the title game. And listen, if you're playing in the title game, you're close to the Super Bowl.
You know what? Because no one at the beginning of the year expected Seattle to win the Super Bowl, I think their defense, unless they can have a real era of being great, will be not get the props that it deserves as being one of the better defenses within the NFL. Because that defense,
it's like almost like they're overshadowed.
It is
by the Legion of Boom.
It is, dude.
People are still talking about the Legion of Boom, not last year.
Listen, I swear, when Afton said, "Why do those guys look different from those other guys?" talking about Seattle's defense, I was like, "Well, baby, of course." Those are offensive linemen, but the team they weren't like fat offensive linemen. But she was right.
They didn't have one stud. It was just like everybody
waves. Yes, it was what. No, that's not even including the linebackers in the defensive backfield. No, they were sending. It was like everybody. They had 8.5s all over across the board.
All 11 guys on that defense had 8.5 sacks.
Yes. Their rate was 8.5. It was like that. That part, dude, they were overwhelming people last year, to say the least, right? As we are now offensive football over here. This used to be what we cared about in Chicago, right? We cared about defensive football. Now we care about is winning and scoring points. Of course, we want the defense to be good. I'm being facetious. Anything else before we get out of here, Alex?
No, extra point is Michael Jordan was the greatest. To watch him was sublime. Apologies to our younger fans who never had the opportunity. It was a true joy. If Caleb Williams wins a bunch of championships, maybe he'll be the next MJ. But man, MJ was really art in motion. What a dream!
And we didn't even talk about him defensively. Yeah.
We didn't even talk about the steals.
You didn't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that.
That'll be next week. Tune in next week to hear about Michael Jordan and the steals. He was so good. Didn't he win a bunch of defensive players of the year? I was young, so I wasn't like deep in the stats like that.
He definitely won in the MVP. I believe the year that he scored 37 points.
Save I think it for next week. That's next week's extra point. We're talking about Michael Jordan's.
I don't know if he got 2. He definitely has 1. Which again, we're talking about the guy that was leading the league in scoring. You know, he said to himself, to be better, if I'm going to be better than Magic and Larry Bird, I can't be a good team defender. I got to be a good individual defender. See, back in the days, your best players weren't giving it all on both ends of the court like that. Even the GOATs, though, back in the days, I'm talking about Bird and Magic, they weren't. He had Michael Cooper, right? Coop, get on him. Cornbread Maxwell, get on him. Bird, right? That's what, get on him. No, Mike was like, I got this. And then he definitely still had a great defensive player alongside him and offensive facilitator in Scottie Pippen. So that's enough of your
Dennis Rodman was
history.
Great. 1-time defensive player of the year, 9-time all defensive first team, 10-time scoring champion, and 3-time steals leader. I mean, there will never be a player like him ever again.
3-time steals leader.
3-time steal champion, 10-time scoring leader, 9-time defensive first team. Come on.
What year? Could you tell me? Because I think I said already. What year was that defensive player of the year award?
1988.
It was 88?
88. So he was still a young buck.
So what was Jordan averaging that year?
Oh God, I don't know.
Because I want them to see what he was averaging and being defensive player of the year.
Okay, Michael Jordan, basketballreference.com. Oh boy. Michael Jordan. So if he won it in 1988, it would have the 1987-1988 season.
Yes, that's 37 points.
He led the league in field goals and led the league in minutes. 40.4 minutes, 13 field goals. He scored 35 points. He scored 35 points a game and was the defensive player of the year. Like, out of town. That's outrageous.
That's the season after he averaged 37.
What is that? The Selke Award, best two-way player?
Yeah, that's that.
Too.
All right. For Alex Shapiro, I am Kenneth Davis. This is the Windy City Pod presented by Fansided, and we will see you next week.